Never knew it would be such hard work to go to sleep. But here we are again with our daily homework assignment, at least for the next couple of days, which for Kristen and Jackson and I, okay, let's really take our health seriously and our sleep hygiene. If you're getting up this early in the morning and you're listening live to the Bert Show, chances are pretty good you have some problems sleeping. Man, it's odd hours, right? So we decided, look, the first thing that you can do to make things a little bit healthier is turn your electronics off 1 hour before you go to sleep. 1 hour of your day. How hard can this be? It has proven to be harder than I thought it was going to be. My grade this morning, D+.
D+. You did worse last night than you did the night before?
Yeah, only because my routine was off last night. Hollis had a game way out of the city, like up in Canada. So by the time that I got home after his match last night, it was already late. So I turned TV on to start winding down a little bit, and then, dang it, the show that I was watching was too good to turn off. And then finally I did, just to read for 20 minutes before I dozed off, but it was too late. So D+ for me, not an entire F, but a D+. And then I looked at all my electronics this morning on how my sleep score was, and it sucked again. It's just terrible.
All right, so I have a little bit different goal than Bert and Jackson here because I don't really, at least I don't think I have issues with sleeping. I sleep pretty soundly. For me, it's just letting go of the electronic and being done with the electronics at a certain time. So my goal is to put my phone down at 9 and not pick it back up. And so far, I'm 2 for 2.
Okay.
I did that last night. Thank you.
Good.
Did that last night, right at 9 o'clock, put the phone down, didn't look back at it. Now I'm still watching my murder show on Hulu.
I don't think that's helping.
The Fox Hollow murders. But again, I didn't go to 10:30. At 9:30, I stop, I turn it off, and I go to bed. So I'm not doing this an hour before I go to sleep, but I want to be phone done by 9, TV done by 9:30.
Yeah. It's so bizarre that murder mystery death is the thing that relaxes you to get you to sleep, that you really need to double up on your therapy.
Yeah.
For all of our sake, because now I really don't trust you.
Okay, I'll hit up Susan today.
Okay. Jackson?
I think I give myself about a C.
C.
Yesterday, I kind of misunderstood a little bit. I thought I could still kind of listen to something in the background, but that's still distracting, and I get it. It's turning your brain off. Last night, it was 9 o'clock, put the phone down, and then I realized that I was so bored and had nothing to do that I just tried to go to sleep then. That was supposed to be an hour earlier.
That didn't work.
Didn't work at all.
If you're not tired at all, they say that the last thing you should try to do is put your head down and try to force yourself to sleep. It's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, my brain was doing mental zoomies for a solid hour and a half while I tried that. And so, I mean, I checked my sleep score. It wasn't good. I got less than 5 hours, 4 hours, 40 minutes. You know
who we should be asking is Katie here, who takes 4-hour naps before she goes to sleep at night. How do you do it?
It's just, I think it's my body. I think it's the sickle cell anemia. The anemia makes me sleepy.
Well, okay.
I just have a natural sleeping pill in my body.
Yeah, well, I don't want to inject myself with that just to get better sleep. So that takes the fun right out of it, Katie. Right out of it. All right, Cassie. So, embarrassed yourself yet again.
Is anyone shocked? Not me. So I went to this cute little park with my kids over in Smyrna, and I love it because it's gated in, right? So that means they can't run out into traffic. They can't open the gates. They're stuck. Gives me a little more leeway to actually talk to other people.
Oh, it's a prison play yard.
Yes, and that's the best kind because anyone who's tried to plan a mom date, you can't catch up because you're running around after your toddlers the entire time.
See out there sitting on a bench doing curls?
Yeah.
A little bench press I'll do.
So I'm watching my kid on the monkey bars, and a woman comes up to me, and she goes, "Hey, are you Cassie from the Bert Show?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And she goes, "Hi, I'm Ellis. Nice to meet you." And I'm like, "Hey, Ellis, great to meet you." And I'm really excited because making mom friends is hard, especially at the playground because you're busy. And she's so nice, and we have a great little convo. And I tell her where I like to take the kids when it's raining, which is Avalon, by the way. The playground is sheltered there. And we have a great convo. And she's like, "I'm sorry for coming up." I'm like, "No, Ellis, don't be sorry. I'm so glad you came and chatted. I hope I see you again." Making sure, because I think it's important to me when people use my name. So I'm calling her Ellis over and over again, like, "Hey, Ellis." And then the next day I get onto our Facebook. There's a few listeners who have started a fan group, which is great, by the way, for discussion and stuff. And I see a post from her talking about how she met me. And I'm like, that's sweet. I've left out one key part of meeting Ellis, and that that's that she's Australian.
Oh, the coolest accent ever.
Yes.
Oh, I know.
But her name isn't Ellis, it's Alice. Her name is Alice. And the entire time I'm speaking with my like hybrid Southern accent. I'm like, do you love coming here, Ellis? And I just sound like I'm mocking her to her face. And she wrote really nice things. But in retrospect, I'm like, oh my God, she thinks I'm an idiot. This lovely woman came up and I didn't know her name was Alice.
Maybe she was thinking you were being respectful. Oh, she's talking in my native tongue. So I don't know if I'm just getting more impatient as I get older, or Atlanta traffic is getting worse and worse and worse all the time. I can't think of the last time I actually drove through downtown, that connector downtown, where I wasn't stuck in traffic, even in odd hours, right? So yesterday I found myself in traffic in a place I didn't think I would be, which made me want to ask you guys the question that are listening right now. And it doesn't necessarily have to be an Atlanta thing, but I would want to know, like, if we opened up the Bert Show's Guinness Book of Records of who's got the longest commute to and from work every single day. And let's do this in two ways, in miles and also in minutes, in the car every morning and every afternoon. I have always said this about doing this Bert Show here, is that the biggest perk that we have is not having to deal with traffic, mostly in the morning and the afternoon. You know who has mucked this all up for me? My son, who is now playing in his senior season of soccer, and I'm determined to catch like as many games as I can. This is it. And he doesn't want to play in college. So I'm like, wherever you're going, bro, I'm going.
Yeah, these kids really have a knack for screwing stuff up because I signed Jimmy up for small ball. And my son's already doing this, and he's not even 4 yet because he has practices Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Oh, my God.
And now, for those of you that don't live in Atlanta, that's hell hour.
Yeah.
And I lived in Washington, D.C. when hell hour was 5 hours. It like generally started at 2 in the afternoon and goes to 7 o'clock. It's really, really bad. But Atlanta, I feel like, and I've been here 25 years now, I feel like it's getting worse and worse. And I don't know if it's I'm getting more impatient.
I feel like with New York, it's kind of similar to D.C. because everybody always says New York is worse. But growing up in New York, you had a point of time when you knew you were safe. Right. And there is no time when you're safe, I feel like, here in Atlanta.
Here's Jennifer. Jennifer, the Book of Records is open up for commute time. What do you got?
So if I leave at 6 a.m., my commute is 1 hour. If I leave at 7:30, it is between 2 to 3 hours.
Whoa, and where are you going? Where are you going from and to?
Douglasville to Midtown.
Oh, wow, that's nasty. Okay, so yesterday, here's the thing. It used to be that when you moved outside of a big city, you did it because you wanted to avoid traffic and it was cheaper out there also, right?
You get more bang for your buck with your house, man.
Man, which might be true outside the perimeter, but as far as traffic goes, one of the perks for me would be living out there where you wouldn't have to deal with traffic. Those days clearly are over. So I picked up Amanda in Roswell yesterday, and my son's game was in North Cumming, which was almost Dawsonville. When I put it into Waze, it was 23 miles. It took me an hour and 20 minutes to get up there. It was like
bumper to bumper.
The bumper to bumper, man. It started in Roswell through Alpharetta. And then I'm like, well, at least we're through Alpharetta. It's like nobody lives in Dawsonville. There's a lot of people that live up in Dawsonville and Cumming because it was back to back to back to back. And I just kept thinking, I have so underestimated you guys that are listening live to the Bert Show. I want to apologize because it is hell out there.
Yeah, I live in Smyrna, and I know if I'm going anywhere, starting at, I would say 2 p.m., it's going to take me an hour. Like if I have to get over to Emory and Decatur, your house, like it doesn't matter. I'm going to bank an hour because there's going to be some jam somewhere. On my way to work in the mornings, I'm in traffic. And I'm like, what do you guys do for a living? I mean,
Right.
me being up this early, but I'm like, go to bed.
Look, in Atlanta, if you can, it's really smart to get a house right down the street from where you live because these commute times can be like that. And mine is 4 minutes. 4 minutes. And I realized yesterday that I am living such a charmed life for those that have to do this every single day here. Like, Kelton, good morning. You're on the Bert Show. What's your commute, man?
Yeah, I live in Ellijay, Georgia, and I drive all the way to Fayetteville, Georgia every morning. About 96 miles, an hour and 50 minutes in the morning. In the evenings, it's probably 2 hours or 3 hours to get home.
Oh, my God.
Kelton, I'm curious, why not live closer to work?
Well, because I'm in construction, you just never know where work might be.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a great call right there. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. That does make me feel a little bit better.
I could not imagine. Like, if I am going to be in the car for 2.5, 3 hours, I better be going to some vacation destination. Not Fayetteville.
3-hour commute. I get home. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Night is over.
I should have asked Kelton at some point. You got to do the budget on it too, because if you're making that commute, gas prices as they're going up, and you have to do that not knowing where your site is going to be every single day, you got to do the math on it and go, I'm not making any money at all here.
Let me put this in perspective for you too, how really insane it is. So in the UK, people are like, oh, I'm moving away from my parents. We're not going to see them but a couple times a year. Because the parents they move 3 hours. That's it. So a 3-hour drive in the UK is like insane.
Right.
They can't wrap their heads around it. And here people are just doing that daily for commute.
In the same city.
Hey, Dakota, good morning. You're part of the Bert Show. Dakota?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, how long is that commute?
Yeah, so I drive 47 miles one way, so 94 miles a day.
94.
I live in Villa Rica and drive to Dunwoody.
Okay. Kristen asked a good question. Why?
It's cheaper out here. What I pay for a 3-bedroom out here, I could probably not even get for a 1-bedroom down in Dunwoody. And I have kids, and it's just cheaper up here.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and if you got kids, that's a couple hours in the car by yourself.
You want to move further away. It's too close.
That's the me time, baby.
Man, it was brutal yesterday, and all I kept thinking is what a charmed life we live in that we don't have to deal with that every single day. So for those of you that listen to us in the morning or the station later on, stuck in all of that traffic, thank you. Thank you. I hope we're doing our jobs for you. So St. Patrick's Day is on Monday. There are many celebrations going on all around the country, right? Chicago, I know, has a huge St. Patrick's Day parade and celebration, right?
Yeah, they dyed the river green, right?
Is that true?
Do they still do that?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay. For us in Georgia, it is all about Savannah. Man, what a S show that is.
I've never been to Savannah for St. Patrick's Day. I've been to the city multiple times, and it is beautiful, but I can imagine it's next level for St. Patty's Day.
I've gone twice. Once partied really hard, and the second year, I went back looking for my brain cells and got caught up in it again.
And now your son is there going to college.
And look, I have been to Savannah more in my 20 years than he has been to downtown Savannah, and he's gone there for 4.5 years now. So he will not be at the parade. However, I tell you who will be at the parade is the Bert Show Youth Group.
St. Patrick's Day, we'll have a drink, come down our way and talk about the land that we hold dear. Where's the pot of gold?
All right, we're calling it the St. Patty's Shenanigan Showdown.
That's really hard for you in veneers, no?
No, those are okay. It's the teeth.
Oh, the teeth.
Yeah. So we got Mikey's going to be heading down to Savannah. Jackson will be heading down to Savannah. Amber will be heading down to Savannah. Rebecca will be heading down to Savannah. Which one of you guys have actually been to Savannah on St. Patrick's Day? Only Amber and Rebecca?
Yeah, Amber and I went to school there, so
that's right.
I've been quite a bit. I don't remember much. Very fun, though. Very fun.
And is this also why you have dyed your hair a fresh green in honor of St. Patty's in Savannah?
Well, it's like if I'm going to celebrate in Savannah, I got to be as green as possible.
I dig it.
So for those of you that haven't been, there's one street there. It's River Street, right? Which is just the S show for St. Patrick's Day in Savannah. And the festivities can start early morning, and you can walk. I think it's like the first time I was in Georgia where I experienced you could take one drink from one bar and bring it into another.
Yeah. So it's open container on the street?
Yeah,
oh my God, yes.
Yes.
I mean, it is really nutty down there. Now, is it the whole city or is it just basically River Street?
I would say it's like from River Street to like, there's like a couple of streets like Broughton and like all the historic like downtown area. It's just like everyone's walking around. Everyone has a green drink. All the fountains are green. It's like you don't even have to go into a bar. It's all
mess,
outside.
man.
However, hot tip, you never, ever wear heels when you go out in Savannah because those streets are the old school cobblestone streets,
Right.
and you are destined to break an ankle.
Oh, yeah.
I have witnessed that many times.
Oh,
Forget about high heels or anything with a heel. I mean, come 8 o'clock at night on St. Patrick's Day, people are breaking ankles on those things.
Sometimes you wear football equipment from the stores.
Let me try to paint the picture for you because it literally is like shoulder to shoulder. You know how you like the crowded part of of any bar where you're trying to get a drink, you're shoulder to shoulder and you're fighting for a drink. Think about that for a quarter mile down the road of River Street, and it's like you can't breathe. You can't really breathe. So we are sending them down there. Mike, you've never been.
I went in 8th grade, so it's gonna be
Start drinking.
It's
Gonna be pretty heavy. Jackson.
No, I've never been. My girlfriend went to school down there as well, so we took a trip for the weekend, but it's nothing like this weekend that we've got planned.
Okay, we're sending these guys down there, and we've got some things for them to do because it wouldn't just be fun for us to send them and have them come on back on Monday and Tuesday and tell us about St. Patrick's Day. We had to make it a little bit more lively than that.
So the St. Patty's Shenanigan Showdown is going to consist of this because we are happily paying the way for the youth group, okay? We got them an Airbnb. They're close to, in Savannah, close to all of the parties. And so they are going to have to do a little bit of a competition to acquire points, okay? So we have come up with different shenanigans for them to do, and each shenanigan is worth 1,000 points. You can rack up to 1,000 points in the Shenanigan Showdown. Now, we're going to start going through some of these categories day by day. We're only going to reveal 3 today that you guys could potentially do. And you have, if you don't want to do it, that's well within your right. If you do it, you're going to rack up some points.
So if I remember correctly, the winner can get up to $1,000.
Correct.
Okay. The loser, however, is going to feel this all week long.
Yes. If you get the most points, you win $1,000,
Okay.
guys.
It's pretty good motivation for you guys considering you all are broke.
However, if you lose on Monday, St. Patrick's Day, when you come back from your escapades in Savannah, we're going to paint you green, and you're going to have to be green for the entire week.
Not just St.
The
Patrick's.
whole week?
The whole week.
Tuesday,
Oof.
Wednesday,
Oh, my God.
Thursday, Friday.
Is that a repaint every day?
Every
It's a
day.
repaint every day. Yeah.
Will that show up? Will that show up on me?
And not,
Good. Yeah.
Remains to be seen.
if Cynthia Revo can do it, you can do it.
More like 100 green. Yeah.
That's a good point.
We're not talking about just face. We're talking about any body part that is exposed. You have to paint it green.
What a pain in the ass that will be. Because you have to reapply. It's going to get on all over your clothes. Any appointment you have, anytime you go out. People will understand Monday, but by Thursday, if you still have this on,
Yes.
you're going to get weird looks.
Absolutely. And now, Abby, you are a beloved member of the youth group. However, you have other obligations this coming weekend.
No, I just didn't want to hang out with them.
That was smart.
Both are understandable.
I'm just kidding. My cousin decided to have a baby, and we're having the big gender reveal this weekend, and literally my entire family will be there, so I have to go too.
Okay.
So since even though you're still going to be, and you're obviously a member of the youth group, I wanted you to deliver them the first 3 shenanigans on the list, each one worth 100 points. Okay.
And this is just the first part of the list. We got 3 coming up for you guys every day.
Yep.
So these are the things that y'all have to do, and I don't. The first one is you have to.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
If you do, you get 100 points.
I don't know. I want someone to do this for the story. For 100 points, you got to make out with another member of the youth group.
You can get 100 points right now.
That's an easy 100. Right?
Rebecca and Amber are going to knock this out after this break.
That's an easy 100. It might seem like a little awkward now.
Yeah.
But you've been drinking 4 hours and you're going to need 100 points. That's one you can knock off quick.
What counts? Like, what's making out?
Swap spit.
Okay, yeah, because does there have to be tongue?
Open mouth.
Because I have a doctor's note.
I mean, I guess you get the waiver on that.
Rebecca gets a pass. All right, the second task for 100 points, one of you has to get a drunk tattoo and or piercing.
Okay. All right. Piercings don't last forever. 100 points.
No, they kind of do. That hold never really goes away.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
If you take it out immediately?
If you take out immediately, maybe it'll grow back.
I think so.
Okay.
But
you
if
still
you leave
have,
it in
but
there a
you'll
little
still
bit.
have a little dot where it was.
Oh, okay.
I think we should say we got to at least see it.
Yes.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
bring it in studio to get your 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can't just poke a hole in yourself and call it a piercing.
And
That's what I did.
Did you really?
That's how I pierced my ears.
You did it to yourself.
I did it myself.
Damn.
And the last one for another 100 points is you have to do a TikTok with a cop.
Now, is this a trend on TikTok you were telling us about? Because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it was popular a couple of months ago, but I feel like this is an easy one to knock it out. It's when you stand next to a cop. Usually it's on a night out, and usually you have to pick an objectively hot cop. And there's a song that says something like, "Everyone knows I'm a good girl, officer." And it's very...
It's really catchy.
It's very catchy, very fun.
Mikey, please do that one for 100.
Does it have to be that song?
Yes. I think you could get like an extra 25 points if you do that one.
That's your holdup is the song?
I'm a good girl.
Save that.
That's up to you.
Save that. Yes, Amber.
Do we need the cop's consent?
I would assume so.
Amber want to use her doctor's note for the cop.
Go ahead, Amber. Try it without talking to the cop first.
All right, so those are the three we're starting with today. We will come in here tomorrow morning with 3 others. And again, you don't have to get all of them. It's just whoever comes in here with the most points on Tuesday morning. Because you
Monday
guys
morning.
What's that?
Monday morning.
Will it be Monday morning? So they're not actually staying in St. Patrick's Day on Monday?
No. They're coming back Sunday. So St. Patrick's Day, Monday morning on the Bert Show, we will have a definitive winner of the St. Patty's Shenanigan Showdown.
Okay. Is the parade on Sunday or is it on Monday?
It's on Monday. They're not going to the parade.
Okay.
You were in the meeting.
Yeah, I know, but it seems to me like we should switch this around because the major part of the day here is on Monday.
It is.
That's the major part of St. Patrick's Day in Savannah.
That would have been pertinent information for the meeting.
You said you beg. Let's bring them back on Tuesday. I mean, if we're sending you for St. Patrick's Day, we got to send you for St. Patrick's Day.
That would make sense.
Okay.
What are you looking at me for? There's 4 people in here that brainstormed. Nobody thought of that?
Yeah, we said it during the meeting. We literally brought up that the parade was on Monday, but they'd be back. So because everyone parties on the weekend.
Which is why we didn't include the parade in the shenanigans.
But the major part of it is on Monday. So that
Correct.
was miscast. So
Okay.
you will come back on Tuesday. Okay?
Surprise!
Isn't the Airbnb done?
Yes, we're gonna have to. Somebody's calling Tracy right after this break.
So you also get 100 points for being homeless after the St. Patrick's Day on Monday.
Maybe you could shack up with that cop.
Yes. We're definitely got to keep you guys down there for Monday.
And Rebecca's got to drive us back that evening. On Monday evening.
You're going to be hammered.
Yeah.
Well, Rebecca's sober.
We're going to have to brainstorm this one, but
Okay.
it only makes sense for you guys to stay down there on Monday for the parade.
Gotcha.
And they're also going to be doing the drunk voicemails as well, right?
That is correct. So every night that they're going to start in the beginning with no alcohol, and then call our voicemail line, and we're going to get drunk dials from the youth group as they progress throughout the evening.
And you get no points for that.
No,
Okay?
that's just for our entertainment.
Yes. You know what cliche I hate when it comes to relationships? Because it's such a lie. We're going to have to agree to disagree. Okay, now everybody says that to just like bring the heat down on an argument, but does it ever really go away?
It doesn't really resolve anything.
Right.
It just kind of sets in stone where you stand.
And there are just some times that you're at a stalemate in your relationship. Maybe one person has really been resolved to like, okay, you know what, we're just going to put it behind us, but the other one can't let it go, right? So sometimes you're just in a stalemate. So Mike and Sarah have hit us up because they are in this position right now in their marriage where they just can't move on over one issue, completely one issue, and that's it. So good morning, Mike, and good morning, Sarah. How are you today?
Good morning. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Sarah, you seem a little bit more reluctant than Mike here.
You could say that.
I don't feel reluctance. I feel disdain.
Oh, damn.
That's strong. That's top shelf.
Right?
Okay.
That's an SAT word, baby.
All right. Well, disdain sells better. So, Sarah, what's the problem here with you and Mike?
Okay, so Mike and I were invited to his college friend's wedding, right? And I was totally planning to go, but then this work trip came up, so things changed. Like, I can't miss it. So I told Mike he should just skip the wedding because I can't be there, but he's still planning to go, and I have a problem with that.
Okay, hold on. Before you even go on, I want to tell you that when you said that he shouldn't go, it was Mo's head that popped up like a whack-a-mole.
I don't really understand that one.
And then did a little tilt,
Yeah.
like you heard a high-pitched whistle or something.
I was trying to hear her out. I was trying to listen through it, but I so far I'm not exactly sure why he shouldn't go because she can't.
Do you want some clarification from her before we talk to him?
Yes. Why exactly should he not go because you can't?
Okay, so like for starters, I think it's weird for a married man to go to a wedding without his wife, especially when his ex-girlfriend's going to be there. And from what I hear, she's still single and asking about him through mutual friends. Like, I don't think it's appropriate for him to be in that situation without me there.
Well, just because she's a flirty sloot doesn't mean anything's going to happen with your mans.
Yeah, but I don't want him to be in that situation at all.
Okay, all right, Mike. How you feeling about this whole thing?
Look, I appreciate where she's coming from, all right, but none of about this day is about my dumb ex, all right? It's about my buddy's wedding, all right? That's it.
How close to you are, or how close are you to this friend?
Oh, we've been friends since school.
Okay.
We're tight as anything.
All right.
Oh, so this is like a top tier A-list friend.
Well, if it was top tier, he'd be in the wedding.
Oh, that's fair.
So it's probably
Looking at like
one
B.
tier below.
Okay.
B tier.
See, most of us don't think that way. Mike just found out he's a B-level friend. He should have never come on.
We all found that out together
Unless
in real time.
he thought my buddy did me a solid by not throwing me in the wedding.
So, Mike, tell us about the tension that's been going on between you and Sarah. What is your argument to her? Like, this is silly. Of course I should go.
Well, it's silly, but you're already hearing her, so you already know she's doing back channel investigations on what she thinks this could be. And this is a wedding. It's not a singles mixer. It's very simple.
All right, Sarah, are you doing any back channel negotiations going on here, like between Russia and Ukraine?
I mean, we have similar friend circles. We talk and I hear things.
What have you heard?
She's been asking around about him, like, is our relationship solid? Like, how are things going? How is Mike? All the things.
Okay, so Mike, you're listening to Sarah, you're hearing Sarah, and you're acknowledging that the ex is bringing up some bad feelings for her, correct?
Look at you playing therapist.
Wow, you have gone through therapy before.
So we'll go ahead and
I get it.
Huh?
But there's a reason she's my ex. I'm married. I love my wife. There's no reason for me to ever even consider about reconnecting. And the fact that she's out there running her mouth about me makes her even look worse.
There's another cliche I hate in relationships also, and I'm going to say this before I ask Sarah a question. The cliche I hate is, I trust him, I just don't trust her. So, Sarah, why should Mike not go to this wedding? What is the real insecurity here?
I mean, kind of what you said, like, I trust him, but I don't trust her. And like, Mike, you're missing the point. It's not just about what you intend to do. It's about the perception and respect. Like, if the roles were reversed, if I had an ex-boyfriend at a wedding and you couldn't go, wouldn't you feel uncomfortable with me going alone?
Well, first of all, I trust you. How about that? 100%.
Oh, come on, Mike. If my ex was asking about me, you'd be uncomfortable too.
A little. Just a little.
I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out on a limb here. And I'm going to say that you don't actually trust him. Because I think if you actually trusted him, you would trust that no matter what situation he's put in, he's going to act accordingly, no?
I agree.
No, I do. Okay, I do trust him. But I think it's a respectful thing to do. Like, no one's telling him he can't go, but I think he should choose not to out of respect for me and our marriage.
Girl, I'm sorry. I got to correct you on that. It is not respectful to tell your partner they have to stay locked up and miss an event from one of their college best friends just because you don't like their ex, especially if you really do trust him. So either you don't actually trust him and you're blowing smoke and you don't want to admit it, or you're being a little selfish right now and you're trying to dampen your partner, a great time for your partner at a very significant event for one of his friends over just some woman who thinks he's hot.
Mike, are you offended that she's essentially saying, I mean, she's saying the words she trusts you, but the actions here, like Abby said, is she's saying she don't trust you.
No, and I get it, but if the roles were reversed, I would never in a million years have her stop going to her friend's wedding because of an ex.
Has Mike ever given you a reason to not trust him, Sarah?
No, and like I said, I do respect him. It's just about perception and respect.
So, but you don't respect the fact that he feels like he needs to be there for his friend's wedding, regardless of who else is going to show up?
I mean, there's more to it than just that.
I don't think there is.
No, there's not.
What about the perception of him not being a good friend to his B-level friend by not showing up to the wedding? Like, why is the perception of maybe the woman making a move on him at the wedding the only perception that matters?
Because I think that him showing up without me is more important than him not going. There's other people that won't be able to go either.
Okay, so let's run with that for 1 second. If he shows up without you here, Sarah, what does that say about you and your relationship to other people?
It makes it look like things are rocky, and that's not the case at all.
Okay, but we can't always be worried about what people think. I get, like, Sarah, I'm going to have your back a little bit here. I get with the rumors going around or circulating or the hot gossip, and she's asking about him, and then they show up at the same event, and he's there without his wife, so it feels like there's a door slightly ajar, and she can make her move. What I think is happening here is that you are playing this out in your head, and hey, my mind is a scary place, and I could play a scenario out like that myself. But you have to be comfortable and confident in your marriage. You have to not care what these people think because they don't know you guys like that and they don't know you like that. And this is simply you having to be on a work trip and your happily married husband attending the wedding of his good college friend. And at the end of the day, when she does approach him, because Mike, let's keep it 100. If she's been asking about you, this ex is going to approach you at the wedding. So put Sarah at ease. When this woman comes up and approaches you at the wedding and tries to say something, what are you going to do?
Oh, I'm just going to turn my back and walk away.
You're going to be able to do that?
Yes, I have no problem doing that.
Okay.
Sarah, do you believe that?
I do believe that.
Okay. So I will correct one thing that I think Kristen said that was incorrect. She said, just because the ex has been talking about you, that the door is slightly open. The door is not open at all for Mike.
No, it's not open at all for Mike. But the ex is going to think that she has a chance because there must be trouble in paradise. He showed up to the wedding without her, and weddings are very important. And why would you come to a wedding without your spouse? Of course, he's lying about her having a work trip. There's something rocking going on, so I have a chance.
I mean, I think you can change the perception here, Sarah. I totally see that one, but it does feel like you're catastrophizing. And instead, this perception can be that you're a badass with a career and you had a work trip. You have complete faith in your marriage. So your husband rolled up solo. And when he shuts his ex down, your marriage is going to look rock solid to everyone. You're going to come out of this a winner.
Here is a listener, John, that wants to get in on this. Hey, John, good morning.
Hey, good morning, y'all. I just got to say to Sarah, my wife and I, we've discussed this at length already. You're crazy. Like, I'm sorry. Nobody on the show is on your side. You need to just back down. Like, if you really trust your man, I think you're lying. But if you really trust him, then this is a non-issue.
I don't know that John would be the greatest couples therapist. You're crazy. Although there were times I was in couples therapy that I wanted the therapist to say that. Facts. All right, so Sarah, where are you at with this now? And Mike, where are you at with this now? I agree with John in that. No, I mean, everybody kind of understands. No, we don't understand where you're coming from, Sarah.
I do.
You do? All right.
I do.
Kristen has more soul and heart than the rest of us.
No, it's not that. I think when you bring your baggage or if you don't want to refer to it as baggage, you bring your history into relationships with you. And I have been cheated on multiple times. I know what that feels like and it sucks.
It's happening right now to you.
Yeah, it is not.
You don't know.
So I don't blame. I think Sarah is well within her right. I want to validate her feelings. I understand you being uncomfortable with your husband being in the same room with an ex who has been asking about him. I think if that would make any sane woman, I use the word sane, any sane woman slightly uncomfortable. However, I feel like this is a you issue and you got to deal with those feelings and let Mike go to the wedding. I'm not even going to say that because I would never say that for a man to let somebody go to a wedding. But Mike should be able to go to the wedding and have a good time. And hey, maybe we can compromise here. He can carry around an 8x5 photo of you or 8x11 photo of you.
That's what I was thinking.
Like
how about a T-shirt with her face on?
Just get a tux. A tux with Sarah's face on it to solve all of this.
Sarah, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I hear y'all out. I get it. It's just, it still makes me uncomfortable.
Okay. Mike, is there anything final you want to say here to ease her mind somehow, some way?
Well, look, honey, it's ridiculous for you to think that I would ever step out on you. I never would in a million years. And if we put this whole situation back into another container, the fact that you're going into a hotel for a work trip without your husband makes me look bad, because what are they going to think about you when you show up? It's the same situation.
Oh, I was about to wrap up, but it doesn't appear so.
Should we get John back on the line?
Wow. Okay. Sarah, what do you think of that?
That's solid.
I mean, I'm being paid to be there. It's a little different.
All right, well, what if I pay Mike here $100 to show up to the wedding?
Already.
What?
You and your workarounds.
I mean, he's got a pretty good point.
It's pretty solid.
I mean, we'll have to agree to disagree.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's what we started with.
All right, at least you got some outside perspective here. I don't know that we have accomplished anything. The next time we do this, we should make both parties agree, like the way that we rule the relation. That's it. The issue is behind you guys. Is the issue behind you guys?
I'm excited for the wedding.
No, is the answer.
The issue is not behind him, but his ex is.
Oh,
Sarah, is the issue behind you?
I mean,
No.
All right, looks like our work is done here. Another satisfied
Dude,
customer.
that couldn't be a more perfect representation of a man moving on and a woman holding on.
You know what the worst kind of test for a husband or a wife is? The test where you don't know you're being tested, or the one that has been being labeled an experiment.
It wasn't a test. I wasn't testing him.
You mean you haven't been testing him and still testing him?
No.
Experimenting.
It was research.
Okay. So
I'm doing marital research.
You're awfully enthusiastic in your research this morning, telling Cassie about it off air.
Call me a scientist. This is science. All right. What had happened was, and Cassie is the only one that's been in the know and on this ride with me. Let's go back to January 16th when this experiment started.
Does your husband have any idea this experiment started on January 16th?
None.
Okay.
January 16th of this year?
Yes.
Okay.
He is an unknowing participant and said experiment.
this is an oddly specific day.
Yeah, because I got receipts. I got text messages because, like I said, I've been texting Cassie the experiment updates. I'm starting to feel bad.
No, don't.
Okay.
You are justified in all of this.
Okay, here we go. So we have a fake Christmas tree, but I like to get real wreaths in the house, so I have that pine smell, right? And so we have like this big 4-foot wreath that's in our sunroom, and then I got a couple small wreaths on our sconces, and then I got a wreath for the door. So we got 4 wreaths, 2 small, 1 medium, 1 large. And it's January. These puppies are drying out because of the heat running in the house. So we remove them and they get tossed in the front yard. Literally open the front door, toss them right into the front yard.
Okay.
And that's where they sat.
Right next to the car that's on all blocks?
No, it's not next to the car.
Next
It's
to the
behind the toilet.
Okay.
Yes. We never had a toilet in our front yard. We only had a sink for a hot minute, but whatever.
You didn't have one in your side yard that you sold for cash back in the day?
That was a different house.
How about the freezer that's on the patio?
There's no freezer. So these wreaths are piled up in the front yard. Then we had that big snow. Snow covered them so you couldn't see them. Then the snow melted and there the wreaths were. Every single day as I walked in the house and walked out the house, these dried up, crappy looking wreaths. And I was fed up. So I took said wreaths myself and walked them.
You mean got your hands dirty?
I did.
Oh my God.
I grabbed the wreaths and I walked down the stairs.
All the way down all of them?
All of
There's
them.
like 4 of them. I've been to your house.
No, her stairs at her house like Mount Kilimanjaro.
What?
They are never ending. I feel like I'm climbing the Great Wall of China every time I go in through your front door.
Are you the front door?
Dude, do you know how often I roll my ankle? Those stairs are a hazard.
I will count. There's at least a dozen to get up to the front door.
Maybe a baker's dozen.
So I walk them down the stairs one by one, and I walk across the driveway next to our neighbor's fence, and I prop them on the fence behind the garbage bins. All right, our recycling bin and our garbage bin. So now the large, medium, and small wreaths are behind the garbage bins. All right, so That happened on February 6th.
And I think it's important to establish whose job is it usually to do garbage.
Oh, that's Bart does garbage. All right, so January 16th, I moved the wreaths from the front yard to the garbage bins, right? And I'm like, surely they're behind the garbage. They eventually, they will get thrown away. I don't need to say anything because they're it's obvious. Fast forward February 6th. They are still behind the garbage cans. I know this because I sent a picture to Cassie to give her a little giggle. She was going through a rough patch. Well, her whole life is a rough patch. But I sent her this, and I'm like, here for a giggle. And there are those. Now they're turning brown, like these dried out wreaths. Fast forward to March 5th. Oof. March 5th. They are still behind the garbage cans. How do I know this? Because I sent a video to Cassie as I was walking past the wreaths, and I flipped them the bird because they are still there up against the neighbor's fence. Fast forward to yesterday, March 11th. I sent my husband a text, not asking him to throw away the wreaths because that was the experiment. Surely he will, he'll get rid of these.
So your experiment in your head is how long will it take him?
Yes.
After I asked him.
No,
okay.
I never asked.
Okay.
I was they were in the front yard. And then they were behind the garbage cans. So now January 16th to March 11th.
Mm-hmm. And it's his job.
She said it was obvious.
What do you mean it's his job?
Because he's in charge of trash.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to establish that, because anybody could do it. But if you've agreed, in the division of household duties, and that's your job and your role to do it, and Kristen's already taken him down and moved him over, then it's his job.
But he's very particular. So he's not just going to throw the wreaths away. He's going to undo the wire, take out, he's I love him. He's weird. All right.
He's very thorough.
Thorough.
I would say that. He's done work on my house, and he was there for a month and a half.
Yes, he's thorough. So I sent him a text yesterday. Does that yard team that works on the neighbor's yard also work on ours? They're at Alex's right now. He said, probably. To which I respond, is it rude to ask them to haul off the wreaths and give them a tip to do so? To which he responds, I will take care of them today. So it wasn't until I threw out me getting another man to do the job that he jumped in and said, I will take care of them today.
Did he take care of them?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't go back outside because he did it like early evening yesterday, and this morning it was too dark. So I will know today when I pull in the driveway whether or not they actually did get taken care of. But again, it wasn't until I threatened another man to come in and take care of it that he was like, I'll take care of them today.
It's hard to defend that. That's pretty solid.
Not a test, just an experiment.
It was just an experiment.
Okay, Dr.
Very
Kristen.
long, drawn out experiment.
I don't know what we learned, but it was an experiment.
I'd like to do my friend Kristen a solid this morning. Every now and then, to be honest with you, they're very self-serving segments, but we like to hear from you guys that have it worse than us to make our situation seem better, okay? Earlier this morning, I was talking to you guys about the almost hour and a half drive it took me from Roswell to North Cumming yesterday. I couldn't believe there was so much traffic in the cusp of Dawsonville. I can't believe, if I'm going to move out that way, it's going to be because I don't have to deal with traffic. Those days are over, apparently, right? So a whole bunch of you guys called in. You said, oh, you think that's bad? Man, I'm in my car for 3 hours a day going from here to here. Did make me feel better about it. Now I'd like to do the same for Kristen, who was just complaining.
I wasn't complaining. I was giving you the results of my experiment.
Right. The results of her experiment.
Tomatoes,
Which I know many of you women have had the same frustrating experiment in your house. I would like you to detail this frustrating experiment to make Kristen feel better. So what has your husband been tasked to do or volunteered to do, but either never got to or took 3 months or 4 months, and maybe it's still even not done? 1-855-BERT-SHOW.
Or maybe you haven't set, it's not a task. it's like an expectation because it's under the umbrella of his responsibilities. So you feel like if it's in front of your face, you shouldn't have to say something because once again, that adds something to your mental load, your emotional load that not only does this need to be done, but I have to ask for it to be done. So it's under his umbrella of responsibility. This is something he should do.
So it's not something that even needed to be asked about.
Correct.
Because if you're putting together a task list around the house, his has all that stuff and yours is breathe.
Exactly. So it's an unspoken responsibility.
Okay.
So it doesn't need to be said. It just needs to be done.
So I've heard women complain about this in the past. Like he started working on the shower, and didn't realize how complicated it was going to be. Now we can't even shower in our master shower anymore. We got to go somewhere else, and it's been 6 months. You hear about this all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Just these things that haven't been done that he promised he was going to do.
And I feel like we're setting the bar very low here. 2 months. 2 months to throw away 4 wreaths.
Yep.
We started January 16th. And we ended yesterday. Maybe. I will know today for sure when I go home and see if they actually did get dismantled and thrown away.
All right, 1-855-BERT Show. Dana, make Kristen feel better.
My husband bought me a mirror 2 years ago for Christmas, and it's still leaning against the wall.
Oh, come on. 2 years.
2 years. So do you guys have to pass that mirror every single day that's leaning against the wall?
Every single day.
Yeah.
It's a wall mirror now.
Walk in the door.
Now, is it just at an angle now where he thinks it just looks better down there than it does hung up?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Nope, just lazy.
Carl, I will tell you the fastest way to get that mirror hung is whenever you want something done, if you've waited too long, just tell them you're going to go do it yourself. But not passive aggressive. Like walk up with the nail and hammer, or even better, walk up with like a screwdriver or a drill and some nails, like stuff that doesn't go together, and say, I'm going to hang the mirror. And that man will move so fast and your mirror will get hung.
Hey, Leslie, good morning. You're part of the Bert Show.
Hey, how's it going, y'all?
Good. All right. Help Kristen out here. What has been your frustration?
So, about a year ago, my husband and I were changing our master bedroom around and changed from an adjustable bed mattress to a regular one. And so we have 2 separate box springs that are twin size that are literally leaning against my windows in my master bedroom for 12 months. And my brother and I teased him when it happened because we wagered him it would take him longer than a month or 2. And he was like, you two are ridiculous.
And here it is 1 year later.
I think this is very, like, just listening to Leslie's voice, I feel like this is very cathartic.
Absolutely. They've been waiting to get this off.
Yeah, this needed to be like, you can just feel like the load lifting off their shoulders, being able to scream this from the mountaintop.
The way she said 12.
I think what you're hearing is apathy. Like, I'm just resolved, like it's never going to get done. Good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning, guys. Love you guys.
Thank you for listening.
My husband has a terrible habit of not taking the garbage out. And you have I have one of those garbage cans that has the foot pedal. You have no idea how many times I've had something in my hand, I'm going to put my foot on that pedal and open it up, and there it is, full.
And this is every week?
Almost every week.
Yeah, it's the same thing with my son, man. It's got one chore in the house.
Yeah, but one's 17, another one's 45.
Is there really that big of a difference?
No.
Here is Paige. Paige, good morning. What is supposed to have been done so quickly, and you're still waiting?
So I had a baby 6 months ago. Of course, we did the nursery about almost started the year. We come home from the baby shower and we're unpacking everything, and my husband bumps into the door, and there is still a hole in my child's nursery that he has yet to pack.
Oh my God.
And that was how long ago now?
Almost about 8 to 9 months ago.
8 to 9 months.
The kid's going to be graduating high school before that hole in the wall's fixed.
Oh, we can double that. 8 to 9 months is nothing. Hey, Angie, good morning. You're on the Bert Show.
Hey, so I have been trying to get may as well be my husband. He's the father of my 2 younger children,
to finish the flooring that was started 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
So all throughout my house, you see plywood and you see some planks.
You laugh.
Boxes of flooring in my garage.
Yeah, Angie, you laugh so you don't cry, don't you, babe?
It's one of those hysterically angry laughs.
Cry.
Mm-hmm.
Or do it yourself.
Okay.
Or tell them you're going to call another man to do it.
There you go. That works every time.
That's what happened with me. Y'all got to do what the single ladies do. I just call TaskRabbit. Like you get on, you find some random man to do the work for you. You just have to pay him.
All right, okay. This is going to, I think, be our last one here. Hey, we're going to go way past 2 years. Hey, Angie, good morning.
Hi.
Okay, what's the job and how long have you been waiting for it to get done?
Okay, so in March of 2020, I bought a ceiling fan to go in my bedroom. It's still in the floor in my bedroom. Sometimes my daughter, she'll come in there and sleep in my room, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm sleeping with my biggest fan.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
5 years.
Now, is it in the box or is it just an open fan that has been sitting in the room for 5 years?
Brand new, still in the box.
Still in the box.
5 years.
I wouldn't call that brand new anymore. It's been 5 years.
It's vintage now.
First, we will celebrate here, and then I will allow you guys to have a good laugh at my expense through my son, okay?
This is one of my favorite things.
I know that'll excite you. All right. So I told you guys a couple of weeks ago that my son that goes to SCAD was going through his very first breakup, and it was really tough on him. So I left and just went down there and hung with him for a couple of days just to make sure he was okay. You guys remember that feeling, man? That very first breakup? God, it just feels like the whole world is ending. God, you got those feelings in your chest. You wake up in the morning, she or he is the first thing that you think about all day long until one day you wake up and for 1 minute you didn't think about them. And then it's 2 minutes and it's 3 minutes. He was going through all that. I'm like, man, I don't want him to do that by himself. So I get in the car and I go hang with him, right? Mm-hmm. So I've been checking with him, obviously, to make sure he's doing well. So I hit him with a text a few days ago, and it was, hey, how you feeling emotionally? And he said, I'm feeling a little bit better. And he also wrote, sorry this is late, because, you know, as kids do, you text them at 8 in the morning, they hit you back 2 days later. And he wrote, gonna head to set tomorrow because I got the lead in a student film.
Nice. Congratulations.
That's a really big deal because, man, if you have any attachment to this industry at all, the film industry stage, you know that these auditions are brutal. And it is time and time again that you are getting turned down after turn down after turn down. And if you don't build some grit or have a really thick skin, it could really get to you.
And Hayden's been auditioning since he was little.
So much, man. Now, a lot of this is also political when it comes to colleges. They tend to hire the ones that they know, which is okay. You know, I understand it. That's how the industry works also.
You need connections, man.
And I think that he's learning that lesson also. But this one really needed to be celebrated because it was his first lead role. His first lead role. And this is his senior year. Could you believe he's graduating in 1 month?
Are you? Oh, wow.
Next month is over, man. He's heading back to Atlanta on Friday and then 1 semester left. So he gets his first lead role and I'm all excited about it, right? I'm like, oh my God, amazing. Congrats. Tell me all about it. This is so Hayden. I can't even believe it. Rebecca, you're going to love this. He just writes horror movie. Insecure guy goes to a cabin in the woods with the girl he likes because he wants a wizard to take away all his insecurities so he can be worthy in his mind of being with the girl he likes. He talks to the wizard's assistant, eventually finds out there are people in the basement. Turns out the assistant is the wizard, but he's not a wizard. He's actually a demon. And the guy just accidentally made a deal with the devil. Demon creates a doppelganger of the guy without his insecurities, and that one gets to go home with the girl while the real one stays trapped in the house forever.
Wow.
Okay.
And he writes, I'm the insecure guy. So he landed his first gig.
Congrats.
Which I thought was really, really great because for 4 years, man, I mean, I keep having to tell him over and over and over again, and I don't know that I would have had this grit even though the words were coming out of my mouth, getting turned down time and time again, and then not being told why you're not getting the part has got to be so frustrating, because I don't know if legally they can't tell you anymore. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but they're like, you may never even hear back from them. So he's been gutting it out and gutting it out and gutting it out. And on the cusp of this breakup, or I should say right after the breakup, when he's feeling so down, I was so proud of him because he picked himself up and went to an audition. So that was the win, which is really what I told him. That's the win right there, is like just moving forward, small little baby steps, right? So he gets up because his instinct was to lay in bed all day, even though he had finals and he knew he couldn't do that, which he was also getting up for, which I was very proud, because you're hit with something like that, so emotional, you could let the world go right by you, but the world doesn't wait for you.
No, life doesn't stop.
No, so I told him that. So not only did he get up and audition, but he got the part. So I hope you learned a whole bunch of different things about that. Okay, so that's the celebration part. Second part of this is way more fun, and I can't even come down on him for this. So he hits me yesterday and he says, hey, can you talk tonight? And generally, oh, hold on a second. This is Kelly. This is one of Hayden's former teachers. Hey, Kelly, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Or should we call you?
Sorry, go ahead.
Should we call you Miss Kelly since you're one of Hayden's former teachers?
You can call me Miss Johns. This is Kelly Johns.
Oh my God! Hey, Kelly.
Oh, hey, girl.
Hey, Kelly.
Hi.
Hi.
So I was one of Hayden's former teachers, and I just wanted to say how proud I am of him because I'm also an actor. So I know what goes into all of this, and I know all about waiting kind of for that big break. So I'm just so proud that he really stayed persistent, and I'm excited to see the film when it comes out.
Thank you. I will send him this call because I know he'll be very proud of himself. So thank you for calling.
Of course. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you. It's a brutal field, man. It really is. And you got to handle rejection after rejection, and the Weisses don't do that well. So I get a text from him saying, hey, can you talk tonight? And I know that means one of two things. He needs money or he needs help. All right. So, our schedules just didn't line up yesterday while I'm in the car going to Hollis's game. He was in school, so I didn't get to talk to him yesterday. But when I got to Hollis's soccer game, my ex-wife Stacy was there, and she says, did you have a chance to catch up to Hayden today? And I'm like, no, we've been texting back and forth, but we haven't. And she's like, she looks down. She kind of starts to giggle. And she goes, he got his scooter stolen.
No.
Okay, so through the course of the last 3.5 years, Hayden has gone through, and this is where I can't even give him a hard time because of my traffic accidents and boat accidents. I've had to take away his car. He crashed a bike. And now he's gone through 3 scooters.
3 scooters?
Oh, 3?
My God.
Remember the one a couple of weeks ago he got hit by a car?
Right, it's a hit and run.
Right, the hit and run. The other one I can't even remember how that one got ruined. And this one, I'm not even sure if he put a lock on it or not, but this one's stolen.
Maybe you do need to lock him in a basement to keep him safe.
I'm serious. I can't even come down on him because of all the accidents I've had with my car that I can't even go like, dude, you got to be more responsible. Because I'm the one that's driven my truck into a garage 3 different times.
You know what this
3
reminds-
scooters, a bike, and a car in 3.5 years.
It reminds me of that commercial back in the day when the dad comes in and he found the pot under his kid's bed or whatever, and he's like, where I learned it from you, Dad.
Every time I've ever gone to see a psychic, it's been more of a novelty than anything else. You know, you pop in there, almost like you're testing them, like, you don't know me. And then every now and then, they'll hit you with something that they're not supposed to know, and you're like, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for this, but actually you did.
Paid good money for it.
Yeah. And Amber was feeling that in a huge way when she went to go see a psychic.
Yeah, so my good buddy Dread, the official Dread, she actually gifted me a gift to have a psychic reading. Her spouse is a psychic and medium, and she wanted to give it to me for Christmas, but you know how it is, adulting happened, we didn't get to it.
Wait a minute, so it's her spouse that's the psychic?
Yes, it's her spouse.
So she didn't have to come out of pocket for your gift.
I mean, honestly, knowing Dread, she probably still did.
Okay.
Knowing her, you know what I mean? There's a good chance. Or at least very discounted. So she called me up and I made an appointment with a psychic, and I've never done a psychic reading before. As you guys know, I'm super into the paranormal. So this was just another drop in the bucket for me.
I'm shocked you haven't done it before.
Yeah, I've always wanted to, but I think the idea, in my mind, psychics they just told you the future. I didn't think any deeper into that, and I didn't want to know the future because I didn't want to freak out and ruin it or make it happen, depending on what they say.
Well, you're about to find out differently because you're about to freak out.
So I went to go see Miss LaCara, and she surprised me. The first thing she shared with me when I was there was that she does not believe that there is death. What she believes is that we all have energy within us. And when we pass, the energy just doesn't have a body anymore. And so for her that's how she's able to communicate with these spirits. She can communicate with them while they're there through different ways. She actually gave me a lot of drawings on a notebook, on a piece of paper that she drew, things that she drew before we started, and also while we were doing the reading.
Well, I want to establish, because like psychics, I feel like they're going to be like fortune tellers telling you your future, but a medium is somebody who can communicate with those on the other side. So I'm taking it she has those capabilities as well.
She can do both.
And so going into this, knowing that your mom has passed away, were you going in... What were the feelings going into it as far as like, were you hopeful there was going to be some communication with your mom? Were you nervous about it? Were you excited about it?
I was so many different emotions because I did not know what to expect or what she would say if she could. Oh, I'm getting emotional already. But when she did find a way to communicate with me, it was amazing. So I want Tommy sent you guys an email, and it's got all the drawings that LaCara did for me, and you'll see the drawings on here. I'm going to go ahead and play a clip as to what is on the drawings, so the listeners can hear what you're seeing.
And so she shows me 2 tombstones. I want to get into that. Some balloons, the numbers 2, 7, 3, and 1.
Okay, so we must start with the tombstones. There are 2 tombstones in the drawing here on the side. At first, I didn't understand what that was, but as we were talking throughout the reading, the thing is that many people do not know is that my uncle, my mother's brother, died 3 days after she did.
Oh wow!
And I haven't talked about that. And so the fact that she was able to draw 2 tombstones before I even told her that was very interesting. The next thing that she mentioned were the numbers.
I hope those are lottery numbers.
And it's funny that you say that because after the meeting, after the session, she says, everybody always asks me, should I play those numbers? So 2, 7, 3, and 1 are the numbers. So on here, you'll see that 7 actually has those drawing of a balloons directly under it. That was actually, July is my mother's birthday. That's the 7th month. Then we've got here number 2. Okay, so the number 2, I think, has to do with, the fact that her and her brother died very close together. I think that's what that means there. 3, I think that it has to do with not just the death of my mom and her brother, but also my cat Samantha died within 1 year of my mother's death. So I lost 3 important beings to me within that year. And then we have the number 1. I believe that the number 1 has to do with the year apart between when my mom died and when my pet died.
I don't want to take away from what you have felt those numbers are, but the skeptic in me says that if somebody throws 5 numbers at you, couldn't you create a connection to any 5 or 4 or 5 numbers?
I would have thought that if she hadn't have done the 2 tombstones. That kind of set me up a little bit. I believe that's what the 2 was for initially, but that still is the same thing dealing with her death and my uncle's death. So that's the only reason why I was kind of more open to it. So
if this is what's connecting with you, that's all that really matters, to be honest with you. Seriously,
It was very helpful. So the next audio that I want to play for you guys is when my mother passed, I had some things happening in my bedroom. There was some things going on, and before I even tell you what it is, I want to go ahead and let you hear this clip from that.
House spirit comes to me a lot, sometimes even before I end up having the readings, right? So that's why I was saying, even on the way here, your mom was like, make sure you mention the lights.
All right, she said, make sure that you mention the lights. So in my bedroom, I built this Amazon desk, and it comes with the LED strip lights that you put on the desk. And when I plugged them in, I actually took forever to build it. And when I plugged them in, they worked properly, but when I turned them off, they would flicker. all the time. I never had a problem with these lights. It wasn't until after a week that she passed, these lights would just randomly flicker. Now, you guys know I'm a paranormal investigator. So when that happened, I decided to take that time to figure out if it was her. So I would ask like, hey, Mom, if this is you, could you make the lights flicker once or twice? Or I'll ask her questions that I knew the answers to and see if she would communicate with me that way. And she did.
Oh, wow. How did that make you feel?
It wasn't scary because it was her, you know, and once I was able to realize that it was her, I was like, okay, this is dope, because for those moments it felt like my mom was still there.
Yeah.
You know, so it felt really good. So so that's what those tombstones mean. Now I do have another clip about the tombstones that I really want you guys to hear.
Typically when I get 2 tombstones, that means someone is buried next to someone. Or what is that?
You said 2?
Yeah.
Their ashes are right next to each other. Right above the TV. So the ashes that we're talking about, this part of the session came later. So my mom and my cat, my mom was cremated, and my cat was cremated as well. And so we actually put both of their ashes on top of the TV, so they're next to each other. So when she mentioned the tombstone, the first time I didn't understand the connection. I thought it was just my mom and my uncle, because he passed 3 days after she did. And then I lost my cat Samantha within a year after that. And their cremations are literally right next to each other. So that one kind of got me as well.
We can't tell.
You hide your
Kristen.
emotions.
I needed that.
You hide your emotions so well.
I needed that. Thank you. And our last clip that I want to share with you is this. I might need you again, Kristen.
I got you.
Actually, before I even explain it, Katie, I just want you to go ahead and play that last
She
clip.
doesn't want you or your father to feel like there's anything more that you could have done. So if you're thinking like, if we had did this, or if we had listened when she said, or if she says stop it, right? This whole thing is about releasing you from whatever guilt you have around her passing.
So the reason that one got to me is because I blamed myself for so long, because I knew that there was something wrong with her. And I tried to get her to go to the doctor, but she kind of lashed out at me a little bit because she knew that something was wrong. And she had seen doctors, but I just wanted her to do more, and I didn't want to upset her, so I didn't push as much as I thought I had. And there was someone in my family at the time, those of you behind the scenes, you know exactly who I'm talking about. He blamed me, screamed it at me that it was my fault that my mother died. And it was something that I was already thinking about. So it was really hard. And so having my mother reach out to me via a psychic and tell me that it's not my fault. I needed that because I blamed myself. And so this experience was something that I didn't even know that I needed. And I'm just very thankful to Lakara, because I have to be honest with you, I was on the fence about this whole psychic thing. I'm always looking for other reasons as to why things occur the way that they do.
So I don't think there are coincidences here. So that reluctance that you were feeling, the fact that you got over that and actually went, I'm not sure that was your grit. I think that there was probably something pushing you in that direction so you could get closure, and I'm going to go ahead and guess it was your mom.
Yeah,
I think so too. She shared way more with me than that. Those are just the clips that I was comfortable sharing with you guys on air, but it was an amazing moment. And I really do think that Cassie and Mo, and you as well, Kristen, I think you should reach out to her, because there's something about her and her energy where it felt like I was talking to a sister. It felt like I knew her for forever. She's such a wonderful person. And if there was ever a part of me that thought, oh, this isn't real, it left me the moment I shook her hand. There's just something about this woman, and it was amazing.
I feel like some peace.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. It did. After we finished up and we were just kind of sitting in her office talking just for a minute, just kind of on a cool down after the session, I realized that I felt so much better. Because the very next day, I went on a Thursday. So the very next day, I come to work. I had the best day at work. I slept like a baby. It was just an amazing moment.
Good. Wow, thanks for sharing with us. Wow, what an emotional moment. I almost started crying.
Hey, and I'm proud of you for releasing that guilt. All right? It's not your fault.
Let it go.
Thank y'all.
We're going to be talking about 911 here in a couple of different ways, but first I want to play you this terrifying clip from a 4-year-old calling 911.
County 911. What's
I called it
emergency?
Oh, yeah. Hello?
This is Racine County 911. What's the address of the emergency?
My mom is being bad.
Okay. What's going on?
Hello? Come and get my mommy.
Okay, what's going on?
Come get my mommy.
Do you know your... Hi, what's going on over there?
Oh, this little one got the phone, and he's 4.
Okay.
And we're trying to catch him because he said he was going to call 911.
No, I just called the police, and I just told her to come and get my mommy, and I just told her, and I just told her to get my mommy, and I just told her to put her to jail. So leave me alone.
I ate his ice cream, so that's probably why he's calling 911. Okay, so you don't need police, fire, or rescue?
No.
So he calls 911 because mommy took the ice cream and he wants his mom to go to jail. But police, they have to show up.
They did.
They get a call, so they show up.
Oh, it's the police. They came for real.
Yeah, we have to just come check, make sure everything's okay.
What you do?
Did you call the police?
Yeah.
Why?
I told my mommy to go to jail. I didn't get ice cream.
So is that why you're upset?
Yeah, that's why I didn't get no ice cream.
It's so hard to yell at them.
Police, yeah.
So no calling 911 unless it's a real emergency, okay?
So, these kids are advanced, man.
Yeah, they are.
Amanda's kid, who's 4.5 years old, grabbed her phone the other day and she thought he was just like watching some YouTube videos or something. Goes on Amazon and orders himself a kid's book.
That's a smart kid. Shout out to the police. They showed up the next day with ice cream.
Did they?
They did. That
They
was
brought
sweet.
ice cream with blue sprinkles on top for the
You're going to
kid.
reward that kind of behavior.
I kind of thought the same thing.
Don't touch people's ice cream.
Take the kid to jail. I had another reason you might not be able to call 911 here on the cops.
Is because I actually had an episode of my podcast, The Breakup Breakdown, this week where the girlfriend of somebody's lover threatened to call the cops on her, which is pretty crazy. And it's actually really a story that came full circle because in the beginning of the story, she talked about how she had just left a relationship where she had gotten cheated on. She was married for 10 years. They had kids together and they ended up breaking up. And she always blamed the other woman. And it wasn't much longer until she would eventually become the other woman unwittingly. So the story starts off with her talking about getting on the dating apps. And I'm like, girl, I feel you. It's terrible out here. It's the worst. So she meets this guy on a dating app and she was a little hesitant to meet him. They lived in different cities. They were supposed to they were supposed to meet at some point. And finally he convinces her, he's pursuing her. Let's meet in this city and let's get together. So they start this long distance relationship and she's like, everything is going so well. I really like this guy. It goes on for a year. And then all of a sudden, she gets on one of those "Are we dating the same guy" websites, which, by the way, I got kicked off of in Atlanta.
Why?
You're not supposed to mention it. So now I can talk about it without getting kicked off because I'm already kicked out. So she gets on one of those "Are we dating the same guy" websites. And somebody else had posted his photo in the group saying, hey, by the way, this guy is stepping out. So she's like, wait a second. He has multiple women, it's not just me, and you're saying that he has a girlfriend, but you're also the girlfriend. So she talks about how she decided to stay with him. She's like, you know what? I got out of this relationship. He says that that it's a situation that he can't get out of, so they decide to stay together. So she moves forward with the relationship until the partner, the original girlfriend, finds out about their relationship. And I'm asking her because she had told me when she had gotten cheated on the first time before she got into this relationship that she blamed the other woman more than anybody else. She didn't blame her husband. She didn't blame anybody else. She blamed the woman. And when the girlfriend of the guy she was now dating, the second guy, the exact same thing happened to her. The girlfriend was like, I'm going to call the cops on you. I'm going to find out where you work. I'm going to get you fired. And she's like, I was that woman 2, 3, 4 years ago, blaming the woman that my husband cheated on me with. And it's like, I didn't owe you anything. Your boyfriend, my husband, was the one that made the commitment to me.
I feel like that's a coping mechanism in the moment because you don't want to believe your spouse would do something that heinous to you. So it's easier to blame somebody else and to have them be held accountable.
Yes, that's great thinking.
That's exactly
So
what it
finally, she gets to the point where she ends up deciding to leave the relationship, but I'm not going to reveal what got her there because, of course, you need to turn into the Breakup Breakdown on Bert's Pioneer Network.
But you're not allowed to do that. You can't call 911, can't call the cops over infidelity, can
Don't
you?
do it.
No, you can't.
Nope. You can do it over ice cream, though.
You can over ice cream.
And get ice cream the next day because you did it.
See?
That's what that kid learned. Whenever I call 911, I get ice cream.
I get what I want.
You're not even going to take your own advice, which a couple of days ago was something like, not my dishes, not my dishwasher.
Not my sink, not my dishes. Well, I'm trying to figure out if I'm trying to be helpful or not. Like what my heart, I'm being honest with myself. Like, is my heart really trying to be helpful or if I'm trying to call a friend out?
Do you guys use the litmus test in cases like this? Like, how much drama am I going to walk into if I get involved and then make a decision like, okay, I'm backing out of this?
All the time.
Yes.
My answer is usually no.
And Abby's usually going right into it.
Right into it.
What had happened was I was on Instagram, as I usually am, every single day. And my new favorite feature is when you're in stories, you'll see like 3 like little circle avatars up at the top. So you can click on that and see what your friends have liked, right? You can see the stories your friends have liked.
Yep.
I never knew what that thing was all about.
I didn't know what it was there for either.
I saw that up there and I'm like, I don't want to be bothered by that.
This is going to get some boyfriends in trouble.
Very much. That's where we're going here.
Oh, funny, I should mention.
That is where we're going here. So yeah, sometimes Bert's picture will be up there. It's people that you interact with a lot on Instagram. Their profiles will pop up. So Cassie's has been up there. Abby's has been up there. Your girlfriend Amanda's has been up there. And so I click on that and then it shows me every story my friends have liked.
Hey, that ain't cool.
Nope.
Yes, it is.
I had no idea.
So I'm going through, and it's funny because you can learn a lot of things, I think, about people and their character. I mean, there's some political stuff you can learn. There's some kinky stuff you can learn. There's sense of humor. Like, it's very interesting to go through and see what people are liking.
This digital footprint is tough, man.
That's why I don't like anything anymore.
I mean, Mo and I have talked about this. Once you get into a new relationship, you better go to your For You page immediately, start deleting things.
Clear it out. Got to clear it.
Because you already know if you like a post, it'll recommend that post to somebody that doesn't follow that person, and it'll tell you, like, Bert Weiss liked this post. That's why it's popping up in my feed as a recommended follow, right? So I'm going through what I do, and it's the nosy white woman in me. Seeing what other people are doing. It's like peering through the window, the blinds of the window to see what's going on in the neighborhood. See, that's the equivalent for me.
Yes, Instagram know this about human nature, and you are the one that they have targeted.
Yes, I am. And it has worked, and it has worked well. Because now I'm going through this other algorithm that's not even really mine. It's what other people are liking, so I can see if anybody's being a pervert. And I found one!
So does your algorithm start to merge with their algorithm now?
It just depends if I like what they're liking or I share that, then yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm just looking at what other people have shared. But I'm sure since I looked at it, Instagram's logging all of this. So I did that. Click those little 3 icons and I'm scrolling and seeing what people have liked. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. Oh, that's stupid. Wow, I didn't know that about you. And then I did a double take. And you can look down at the left and it has the person's profile photo in a little circle, like their avatar, their profile photo, and a heart showing that this is the one that they liked. That's how you can tell.
This is dangerous.
I'm going to cover this person's face.
Oh God.
So unnecessary.
Because this is a close friend of mine. He and I don't speak on the daily, but we're friends. And he liked this post, and I'm like, you're married with kids. Like, what are you doing liking this post? And it's not super, super bad. All right. However, and I took a screenshot.
The worst.
Absolute worst, man.
I took a screenshot because it's these very voluptuous women.
Oh, hello.
Right?
Yeah.
Her rack is impressive.
Absolutely.
The reason why, so
Nice
it's just
ring.
like they're wearing like these leotards.
You see?
And with these big old boobies, and they're walking and they're just bouncing. I mean, these tatas are about knocking them out. Like they're, oh man,
Bruising that chin.
Yes, yes. And it's like one after another walking out, showing off these different leotards for people to buy.
Those are pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the boots.
Yeah, the boots. Nobody's looking at the boots.
I was looking at the boots.
I was looking at the boots.
That's a hot look.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, were you going to buy this for your wife, or no, man? So listen.
So it doesn't show you what they're scrolling through. It's only showing you what they liked, right?
But that's all that matters.
Okay.
They liked this. They saw this in their feed,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
they liked it. Or maybe they follow this naughty, I'm going to leave out name here, person on Instagram and go about liking her booby videos all the time. I don't know.
Maybe he was picturing his wife's face on
Yeah.
this woman's body. Oh, she would look amazing in that leotard.
So I see this, and I'm like this. No, you didn't. You dirty, dirty dog. Because it's one thing to watch it. It's another thing to like it.
So if you narc on this guy, you look like the psycho.
I'm not narking on him. I would never, never, never send this to his wife, narc on. He and I are close enough that I would send him the screenshot and be like, bruh, like really, like, come on.
I'll tell you what, old boy has no idea that that's even a possibility.
You probably would be helping him if you let him know.
But see, so that's what I'm like. I'm actually kind of maybe am I looking out for him and the I'm not over here saying I'm wearing a cape saving a marriage. That's not it. But I saw that and I was just like, and I was like, can I say I was completely surprised? No, I mean I know this dude and I know what he's into, and he's into really, really, really big boobs.
Yeah, most guys don't like that kind of thing.
No.
What a rarity he is.
So how did your confrontation with Bart go?
We know that's not the case, so we know it's not Bart. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Do I say something to him, or do I just let it
Let it go.
Let it go. Don't say anything.
You look like the weirdo. If you bring it up to him, you look like the weirdo.
Absolutely.
How do I look like the weirdo when he was the one liking the giant Tata videos?
Because now he can claim that you're a stalker. You're a crazy woman,
No, I'm not.
unhinged stalker woman.
I am not. I do what any normal. I do what any normal nosy white woman does. I check and see what other people are liking to see if there's a profile that I would like to follow. I don't want to follow Naughty Nancy and her bouncing tatas, but I saw that my buddy liked the video.
What, Cass?
You really want to mess with him? Are you friends with this guy's wife?
Yes.
So you should text that photo, take his name out to the wife, and be like, "I'm thinking of getting these boots. What do you think? And can you ask your husband
Oh,
if
no,
you think I
don't
look like
you
an ass?"
dare.
And so then she
Stop.
shows the photo to him.
Absolutely not.
Might have yet another situation this morning of no good deed going unpunished. Dang, I hate that saying.
Me too, but it applies so often. And this argument, I guess you can say, that these two friends are having is relatable to me, because I don't know if y'all go through this, but I feel like I always find myself in situations, not always, but sometime, where let's say somebody says to you, "Hey, go get yourself something nice," and it's on me. Like, I need a limit, because I don't know what the limit is.
Well, also, you're going to downplay it.
Absolutely.
So you wouldn't get something, you're going to get something less nice than more nice because they offered, and that it never fails that you're going to downplay it.
That's how I always feel when people say, "Oh, let's go grab dinner," and it's on me. I'm like, okay, so what do you mean it's on you? Is it like on you?
Right.
Are we going to Panera?
Right. Because I don't want to be rude, but at the same time, I don't know if this offer is coming back. So what are you supposed to really do?
Yeah, well, that's why, like, when we went out to dinner in Orlando, I don't tell you in the beginning. I just grabbed the check and paid at the end. That way, everybody gets what they want.
Oh yeah, and that was great because we got dessert too.
Yeah,
we got fondue. That was fondue on Kristen,
and it was good.
It was good.
So these two friends, who are really good friends, are at an odds over a similar situation when it comes to food. And it all started because one of them had a procedure that she was worried about, and I guess it's a pretty painful procedure for women, so she needed some mutual support. So she reached out to her really good friend and said, "Would you come with me?" And I guess for weeks, that was the plan. But something came up towards when the procedure was about to happen, to where the friend could no longer make it. Something with work. It was an obligation. It wasn't like she blew her off. She genuinely just could not make it anymore. So she felt really bad about it, obviously, and told her, listen, go do what you got to do. Hopefully you can find somebody else to go with you. But either way, whatever you want to eat when it's all said and done is on me. That was her offer.
Okay.
So, again, that's a situation where I would feel like, all right, what exactly does that mean? Plus, it feels like it's an offer of you trying to make up for the fact that you were supposed to be there to hold me down.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of the way that she received it and she was taking it. So now.
And this is her, let's go ahead and establish, this is her fault for putting the gift in her friend's hand and letting her decide. She just could have sent a beautiful bouquet of flowers for her when she got home. She could have sent some Tiff treats or something like that. Like, she could have done something on her own, but no. She told her she gave the opportunity for her friend to choose what she felt was a good balance of her not being there and making it up to me.
100%. And I'd much rather you just send me the money. Like, just say, here's $50, go get you something to eat, right? Something like that.
Because then there's a cap on it. You know how much you can spend.
Exactly. She gives a no cap. Now, before I say what she decided to spend, I'm curious. If y'all were in this situation, your friend said, I'm sorry I can't be there, go get you something to eat. Would you cap it? Where would you cap it?
So are we going out to dinner together?
No.
Or you're just like, as a person who is sick and laid up, I'm going to deliver something to your house for you to grub on.
Right. But she says, you order it, you get it delivered, whatever your favorite food is, I'll take care of it.
All right. I'm understanding the parameters.
$2,500. Just kidding.
Honestly, I'm ordering whatever I want, but I'm not sending the receipt. Like, I'm just not going to take advantage of that gift because there's no parameters and you're not with me. But my general rule of thumb is if I'm out to dinner with someone who's paying, I never order anything above what I would pay. So I need to be able to cover my meal at the end of the night, just in case. But also, I feel as then I'm not taking advantage of someone because I'm ordering exactly what I would order if I were paying.
That's the decent thing to do. I mean, that's common sense right there. Right?
Is it? I feel like a lot of people don't get that.
No, I feel the same way. It's the golden rule of DoorDash. I'm like, thou shalt not order more than you wouldn't order for yourself. So for me, if I'm laying up in bed, it sounds like maybe she got like a pap smear or an IUD or something. She's not going to be like, she's not going to be mobile. So she needs someone to be able to drop it off. So you got to add like, what?
The pap smear took you out. I don't know. You're laid out because of a pap smear. IUD, sure.
It depends. Maybe it was her first one. Maybe she waited till she was 35.
Maybe it's just maybe it's a rookie doctor, didn't know what they were doing. First day on the job.
Why are you still swabbing? Why are you still swabbing?
They do like the extra large speculum. You're like, that was the BBC speculum. Why'd you go for that one? So maybe she can't move. She got to have someone bring it to her. She got to add the tip. They got to have they got to buzz up to her apartment.
Those fees catch you, man.
Those fees catch you. I'm going to go like somewhere between 50 and 75.
Okay.
I don't know what that number is, but I'd use the same calculation that Cassie is. What I would normally spend on myself is what I would continue to do.
Like, no, for some reason, I'm like 45. For myself, for one meal, if you're DoorDashing or Uber Eating it or whatever, because the fees can be astronomical. I got 5 Guys delivered to my house once because I was so lazy. Never again.
How much
that
was
was
it?
the most expensive burger and fries I've ever gotten.
And it's always cold and the fries are soggy. It's never the same.
45. I would cap it at 45.
So my number was 50. That's what I had in my head because I've DoorDashed quite a bit and it gets expensive.
It does.
It really does. So I'm thinking, all right, about $50 is cool. It turns out that she wanted Red Lobster. And after her
Them Cheddar Bay biscuits, baby.
It's understandable.
Yeah, the total was about $115.
At Red Lobster?
At Red Lobster. I don't know what she ordered.
The Red Lobster, apparently.
When you do the crab legs ain't cheap at Red Lobster.
Really?
No.
She got whatever she wanted. The friend is now pissed because she feels like, who does that? Who would spend over $100 if I say go get yourself something nice? The other friend feels like you didn't give me a limit. Like she doesn't feel like she did anything wrong.
I think it just depends on the procedure. If it's a pap smear, whatever. That's like, give me my $125. That thing sucks.
Forget about what you know about traditional quote-unquote love languages. What are those love languages?
There's 5 of them, and I can't remember who wrote the book on them, but there's one that's like acts of service and words of affirmation and physical touch and all the things that you typically expect when it comes to a relationship. But turns out there's about 1,000 more.
We're going to give a shout out to Gary Chapman, who wrote that book.
Shout out Gary Chapman.
Love languages.
Our king, Gary Chapman. Well, this guy named Paul Conway, what you know about Paul Conway on TikTok, who says that actually you may have your own unique love language that Gary Chapman hasn't discovered yet.
These are the other love languages. Words of sarcasm, matching your freak, sending reels, fighting, forgetting scheduled events, leaving a party early together, being in on the bit, descending into Hades for you, making a playlist, yearning, shutting up, spotting on bench, being sassy, giving you their pickles, taking your pickles, turning back to look at you in the underworld, and then losing you forever.
Or like any main character in one of our fantasy novels, making a deal with a high fae in order to release you from whatever Tamlin was a part of under the mountain. Why did you do that again? We're talking about our ACOTAR series. But I was wondering, do you guys have a love language in your relationship that you feel like your partner knows about you?
I love these unique ones. The way you laughed at shut up, I feel like that's yours
it's
now.
on there.
Yes.
It's on the board.
So my unique love languages, sending and receiving gifts in text messages. I love a good gift convo, like no words, just gifts. Unique compliments. Somebody complimented I would not say weird, but just a small, innocuous part of my body. And I was like, that was a lovely compliment. That was so nice. Thank you. Getting the hell out of my way when I'm in the fast lane. I don't have to tailgate you, but you just automatically just get right over so I can just right past you. And then my greatest love language of all, hating somebody because I hate them.
Yes.
Mine will go past hate. Sometimes it's loathing. In traffic, I was loathing people yesterday.
No, if we're tight and somebody has done me wrong, but they haven't done you wrong, so technically you shouldn't have anything against them, but you know what they did to me and it's fired you up so much that you hate them too, and you stand me because of them, boom! You have my undying love.
Mine might be appreciation, but it has to do with traffic. Just like when I let you merge, just give me the little hey, thank you. That little wave.
The wave is your love language?
That's it. Just a little appreciation. Hey. And then when I get off the elevator, just get out the way. Let me get off first. I'm not one that asks for a lot.
These don't sound like love languages. They sound like gripes.
I love it. Tomato. Yeah. What do you got?
I did mine more based off of like couples. I thought that's what we was doing. So roast sessions. You got to be able to laugh and joke with me. Yeah, I love to have roast sessions. Introvertedness and peace and quiet. That is a love language of mine. You got to know when it's time for me to just be my introverted self and stay to myself. I am not messy. I don't like drama, and we don't agree on that. So you got to know. And for me, this became one as I started traveling because I realized I think I travel a bit different than most people travel. In my past relationships, traveling was always like, we have to be busy and go, see everything, do everything. And then I would get back from the vacation and feel like I need another vacation.
Yeah.
So you got to know how to travel, and we get to see a couple things. But if we sit by the pool all day, like that's my love language when I'm on vacation.
Yeah, if I'm being honest in my relationship, it's probably knowing when to give me space and not give me a hard time about it. Just don't make me feel guilty about it. Like, this doesn't have anything to do with you. This is just me wanting a little space.
I love this so much because I was literally, as Mo was talking, you and I were on the same wavelength because I'm like, ooh, I'm going to add mine. Leaving me the hell alone.
Yeah,
I love
that's a big one.
For me, it's the consideration of my quirks. And Kristen actually did this the other day for me. So we went to Pilates and I had to bring her the sticky socks that you have to wear for the reformers so you don't slip and slide. And she passes them back to me. She's like, do you want me to wash them? But I know you use a special detergent so I can just give them right back to you. And I was like, she remembered? I'm like, she knows I have eczema, so I can't use anything with any kind of weird dyes or fragrances.
Because the polite thing to do after somebody lets you borrow socks and you wear them during a workout session is for you to take them home, wash them, and then give them back. However, I know my girl is particular about her detergent, so I gave her the option. You want me to wash these, or would you like to just raw dog my nasty socks right now?
I got very sensitive skin. I got a very specific detergent. For me, it's being on time. I'm always like early to dinner reservations. So when you show up late to the dinner reservation, feel very disrespected. And then on top of that, letting me make the dinner reservation. For me, that's the one thing that I'm very different from most women. A lot of women like for the guy to make the reservation. No, my love language is getting to go on Yelp, look at the photos, and pick the perfect curated restaurant for our night out.
Okay, mine would be that sparked a memory. Mine would be just the opposite. When we're going to go on vacation, get out the way, let me handle it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And also, like when I get moody, just know that, like, don't judge me. I'm just having a little snotty moment. I'm just being a little brat right now.
I'm entitled
and I know
to
I'm going to be loved after that, right? All right, so I've got a little bit of a heavy heart today. I've been faking it through the show for a little bit. So a radio friend and also, I would say, a mentor, somebody I found very inspirational in radio. Some of you guys that are a little bit older might know the name Bob Rivers. He used to do parody songs back in the day, like Twisted Christmas song. He used to come out with albums, and it was really big in the 80s to do like these parody songs. And he was just the sweetest, nicest guy. He had a syndicated radio show. He was in Baltimore, Seattle, but none of that it even matters.
Yeah, he's a Seattle radio icon.
Yeah, just a Hall of Famer also, and just the nicest freaking guy. And I remember being intimidated for a long time going to conventions because he was sort of in the radio class right before me. Him and the Jeff and Jers out of San Diego, my mentor, Kid Craddock, we're all sort of part of that group that us younger, quote unquote, guys at the time were looking up to. And I was so intimidated to meet him for years and years and years. And finally, when I had enough guts, when we all went out to dinner one night, because these guys used to take us all out, the young guys out, we're going to show you the ropes, man, but in a really, really cool way.
Now you do that.
Now I try to do it, right? So, and that's kind of our pass it along in radio. But from him, man, when I finally sat down with him, he was just the kindest human being. And I say this not in a way that is condescending in a way that you're supposed to honor the dead, but truly from the bottom of my heart, just the nicest individual that was there for everybody anytime you needed anything. Or I would get a random text or a call from him recently when he wasn't doing radio anymore, just saying, hey, want to let you know I was listening to you guys on Spotify and what you guys are doing is spot on. I am listening to you guys every day. And he came from the school of kind of what we do. Yeah, there were parody songs, but there was a lot of real talk also. And he's like, I'm listening to the radio now and I don't hear this much and it's so refreshing. And they would just come out of nowhere. And that's the kind of guy he was, right? And recently, when we were all at the convention in San Diego and we had our wild night out, and I came into the lobby all sorts of loopy. There are a lot of things that are legal in California. And we were all just about wrapping it up. Right before I got to the elevator, there was Bob Rivers in a corner of the lobby, and me and Bill Michaels, another guy that came up sort of in my generation of radio that's still doing radio in Iowa. He's a great guy too. We saw Bob. And there he was with his cane, and we all both knew that he was suffering from cancer, but he was going to conventions just to sort of drop the nuggets that he still could. And I think people that were younger than Bill and I might not known of Bob Rivers or who he was. But when we saw him in that lobby by himself with his cane, just seemingly really content. Like he didn't even care anybody was coming up. Bill and I sat down with him, and Bill and I are probably, we got a lot of miles on us. So we're probably looking at the end of our careers. And his came to an end a few years ago when he decided to retire. And he wasn't feeling real great. And he was working his way through his illness. And this is so Bob Rivers, that got out of radio and decided, you know what? I just need some purpose in my life. So he moved away from Seattle and away from Baltimore, where he was recognized all over the place. He was a local celebrity, the local celebrity. So he wanted to get away from all that, which I've told you guys when I'm looking at my career and I'm looking at the end, my biggest fear is walking away from the adulation of being known locally. The ego part of it. Like, this is all I've ever known is Bert Show Bert. So if I'm going to walk away from it, can I really do that? And Bill, I think, is sort of in the same spot, maybe a year or two away. But we sat down, and what he did was he moved from Seattle and said, I knew I needed some purpose and I needed to go somewhere where I wasn't recognized at all. And he said he absolutely loved it because outside of the adulation was he found some purpose. You know what this guy's purpose was? He moved to Vermont and started making syrup. That was it, man.
Really?
That's where his heart was.
Wow.
He didn't want to put his name on this syrup. He didn't want to be known for it. He just wanted to be the guy down the street that was making pancake syrup.
Wow.
Do you know what else he did? Because I've been reading some articles about him because he was there's a lot of ego in radio,
Sure.
and Bob Rivers did not have ego.
Yeah.
He was and he was such a phenomenal host and was always, like Bert said, so gracious and so kind. But as I'm reading and learning more about him, after he retired, he taught radio classes at Green River College. And he just wanted to work closely with student broadcasters and try to guide them. And that was just something else that he wanted to do after he retired.
I think when you get to a certain age, and you guys luckily aren't there yet, when you have contemporaries pass away, and maybe not even contemporaries, we've got some Bert's Big Adventure kids that have passed away recently also. And you get to a certain age and you just start to take inventory of really what's important in your life. And I wish I could have done this years and years and years ago, because we are surrounded by so much negativity that can get to us and so much opinion that can really get to us, that having somebody that you look up to so much that is a contemporary really makes you realize like what's important and what's not. And you know what? Most of it's not. Like 90% of it's just not important. You know what's important is like leaving your hometown and going somewhere where they don't know you and making syrup for people you'll never meet.
That's beautiful.
That's kind of the important stuff,
Yeah.
So Bob Rivers will be missed, and he leaves a wake of goodness behind him.
The Bert Show.